What tarps work best for hotshot trucking? I've been driving hotshot for almost 4 years now, so I've had many different tarps. Okay, so here's how I've come to my conclusion, or what's these sizes. Okay, keep in mind that 80% of your loads will be less than 6 feet tall. So what that means is don't go out and buy an 8-foot drop tarp and just the biggest ones they have that weigh almost 200 pounds. Don't do that. You got to be smart. You got to be precious, protect your back, and protect your the amount of weight that you can scale. Speaking of which, what is drop tarp? So all tarps are measured by how tall of a load you can cover. That's what that means. So it's always 8 feet wide on the top, and how far, like how much is your drop? How tall is your load that it can cover completely? So if you have a 2-foot drop tarp, that means the biggest load that you can take is going to be 8 feet wide and 2 feet tall. So a small little box, maybe 2-foot drop tarp. And so 4-foot drop would be the same thing, 8 feet wide, 4 feet tall. And it's 4 feet tall on each side, so keep that in mind. So technically the dimension is 8 plus 2 plus 2, so that's 12 by whatever the length is. So 12 feet by whatever. Or if it's a 4-foot drop, it's 4 plus 4 plus the 8 on the top. So that's 16. So it's going to be 16 by whatever, however long you want it. And so on and so forth, 6, 8, whatever. So the tarps that I think will work best, or the reason I say I think will work best is because I just dumped a bunch of money into these new tarps that I have, and they are 6-foot drops with the flap. Okay. Now, I came from a regular square tarp. And as soon as I discovered the flap, I'm like, this is brilliant. This is genius. I love it. This is so easy to tarp. The problem with the flap is, 1, it adds a lot of extra weight. 2, you can't ever turn your tarps anymore. And that is the big problem. My ideal size, if you're going to go out there, if you're going to get started, if you're brand new, my ideal size, I really think so, is a 6-foot drop tarp that's square or like rectangle, because most tarps are 27 feet for some reason. So a 6-foot drop would mean 6 on the sides, that's 12, and 8 on the top, so 20. And for some reason tarps are 27 feet long. I'm not really sure why, but so what you do is you get a 20-foot wide tarp by 27 feet long, and that's your 6-foot drop tarp. Now what happens is, maybe you book a load, it's a good paying load, and it's in that 20%, right? So out of all the loads that you tarp, 80% will be under 6 feet. But maybe you book one of this good paying load, or you're in a tough area and they say, hey, you need an 8-foot drop tarp, buddy. And you go like, I have it. What you do is, because you don't have a flap, you can turn your tarp 90 degrees. And so now your tarp is 27 feet wide, but 20 feet long. And you want to have 2 of these. Just in case this happens, you can cover a 40-foot trailer. So the ideal size, 20 feet by 27. But here's the thing, you guys, very rarely, but here's the thing, guys, it's very hard, and you gotta, not request it, but you gotta make sure you pay attention when you're ordering tarps, that the tarps that you get has D-rings on the front and back, or on the sides, whichever, it has D-rings on all 4 sides. That's the only way this is going to work. For some reason, when I was starting out, I thought that was logical that I would have D-rings on all 4 sides, but I never found them. I never saw tarps that had that. And now I'm finding them more and more and more that they can do that. And those D-rings, having D-rings on all 4 sides adds a little extra weight, but that's nominal compared to the flap. Okay, so let's say you have a 40-foot container that has an open top, and you need to cover the front and the back or whatever, right? If it's an open top, then your tarps will cover. But regardless, let's say you now need to cover the front and the back. This is where you get 2 separate tarps that are 10 by 10 Same, heavy duty vinyl tarps, nice trucking tarps. You get those tarps 10 by 10, and you can fold them up real nice, real tight. They won't take up a lot of space, and you can stash them somewhere where they're used very rarely. Because one of them you'll use all the time, but the other one most of the time you won't. Because when you use your tarp, with the 6-foot drop that turned the normal way, I would recommend using the flap just because it's easier to tarp that way. But when you're using the 8-foot drop way, when you turn it 90 degrees, you want to you definitely have to use it. You know what I mean? Or else your tarp won't go very far back. So even though right now I have a 6-foot drop tarp with the flap, I do not like it. Because I've had an 8-foot load and I'm like, and it looks goofy when your tarp doesn't reach all the way to your trailer. And if you do 27, right, 27 feet long, let's say most tarps are 27 feet long. That's 8 and 8 is 16, and then plus the 8 across the top, that is 24. So technically the 27-foot long tarp is more than an 8-foot drop. And seeing as how our Hotshots can take almost 10 feet tall, if not more, like that's even better. So a 20-foot by 27-foot tarp, rectangle tarp, 20 by 27, is the ideal size. And you get 2 of those, and then you get 2 small, like the ends, 10 by 10s. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. What do you guys think? Is my logic fair, sound? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I want to hear from you guys, you know what I mean? Or do you guys just say, bro, I'm a hotshot, I don't carry tarps, okay? You know what I mean? If you can't find me a load with no tarps, then I don't, like, whatever. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? 20 by 27 foot. And then I will see you guys, obviously, tomorrow. Peace.